Hello my creatives and welcome to another video. So today I'm here to share another junk journal with me process video, and this is the final junk journal with me for 2020. Woohoo! So I'm sharing the last 3 weeks with you of 2020, which is week 51, which I am doing right now, and week 52, which is Christmas, and week 53 I'm also sharing with you today. So after this junk journal is complete, because I will keep this memory keeping separate from everything else. I have a few pages left over, but this journal is already very thick, so I don't mind that not all pages are completed, because now it's just my 2020 memory keeping. So I am doing some kinds of things here. I'm layering up some photos, and as you see, I have a photo with a lot of text and another photo which I will tell you more about. So week 51, the Netherlands got into a lockdown, and I am documenting that in my memory keeping because of the sake of memory keeping, because I think it is fun to look back at in a couple of years when things happened, because you will forget, of course, these things. So I printed out the, how do you say that, the chart our government makes and posts on their website and social media and stuff, to remember that we got into a lockdown in the Netherlands. And with that, all the hairdressers got closed. So Oets had an appointment that week with the hairdresser, and his hair gets very long and thick. So I had to be this amateur hairdresser and cut it short, because it simply, he cannot deal with it when it gets too long and too thick. So my title is Lockdown Hairdresser in Dutch. And I just took a photo of a part of the hair that I removed from his head. I thought it was just funny, and I think it will be a lot of fun when we look back into 2020 that I did this, because I never imagined that I would be a grown-up playing hairdresser. So I just added that photo for week 51, and I'm creating a little journal space and adding some florals and my week 51. I stamp out week 51 up front just on some white cardstock and with alphabet stamps that are discontinued. I do that up front so you don't have to see me doing that on camera, but it's just a simple alphabet stamp, and these are all the same for all the weeks that I did. So moving on to the next part of my week 51, and that is quite an exciting part. So I'm creating a pocket, and you saw that piece of folded paper, which is a personal email. And of course I'm not going to share that online because it has some personal information on there. But as of this year, 2021, I can tell you that I don't need any coaching in my life anymore, because my life is good. I can take care of myself, I can handle it myself. So I told, or I don't know how you call that, but I stopped it, and I said I don't need it anymore for the first time in 7 years. So that was a big milestone for me to accomplish that. And for the ones that don't know, I have ADHD and PTSD, and I get help for that. So it was a big milestone for me to that I can do it without. So that is what that email is about, and I just printed out that email to remember that for myself, and so I could read it again, and when I stopped getting this care from the government, I think. So I created this pocket to put the email in, and I wanted to have just a very happy embellishment cluster on there, because this was a very happy moment. I'm using that big die cut piece from the kit to journal on, and now I'm adding some stickers or word stickers that will that have to do with this topic for me. So I'm just adding some stickers, and I'm going to add some journaling on there, just to say what is inside this pocket. So I'm very happy that that I made it so far, and I'm accomplishing my goals, and I'm working very hard on my mental health, and it really pays off. So I'm very happy. Now I wanted to add a title on top of this page, but I didn't have enough letters of these not enough E's and not an N. So I did some letter surgery. I cut up some letters to create new letters. And the title is in Dutch. It says op eigen benen staan, which means standing on your own feet or something like that. It's a saying. I don't know if it's a saying in other countries, but it means that I'm doing it myself. So moving on to week 52, and week 52 was Christmas. And for Christmas, I don't have a lot of Christmas related things because I'm not really a big fan of Christmas because of personal reasons. But I, of course, want to document it because it is a part, and I thought it would be fun to use the wrapping paper from the gifts that we received. So this was wrapping paper from a gift, and I'm just using it to create a background for my page. So I'm tearing it because wrapping paper, I don't like to cut it. I always cut it crooked. So I chose to tear it, and now I'm going to stick it in with my journal. I am using some double-sided tape right up to the spine because my book is getting a bit bulky, to make sure that my wrapping paper will stick immediately and straight on there. And for the rest of it, I use a glue stick. I noticed that I really enjoy using glue sticks for thinner papers, so I use that to adhere the rest of the wrapping paper. So of course I'm going to cut off the edges of this wrapping paper, and I loved to add this wrapping paper simply because it is some real ephemera, because it was used for the presents that were gifted to me and Oots, and it also created a great background, and I didn't have to fuss too much about creating a background for my photos and my memory keeping, because like I said, I don't have a lot of Christmas stuff. I do have some Christmas stuff, and I will pull that out later on, but it's not a lot. So that's why I really enjoyed using the wrapping paper and some, real ephemera and some real memories from that week. So if you want to know what I used, everything that I used is listed down below in the description box. And if I can find it online, there will also be a link for you. Just remember that some of the links are affiliate links and some of them are not. And of course, I cannot link my real ephemera because, that's just part of my my life, so to say. So, of course, this year Christmas was a bit different than other years, and I thought it was okay because I don't really like Christmas. So, for me, it was okay. I had a wonderful Christmas, and I really had a lot of fun with Oots together with my husband, and we just enjoyed each other. Enjoyed each other's company. So here I come in with my photos. So this first photo that I have is a photo of Coda, and I posted that on my Instagram page to wish all of you a Merry Christmas. And I thought it was just the funniest photo ever, so I wanted to add that in my personal journal as well. I'm just using some scrap white paper to create a white border around my photos because the wrapping paper is quite busy. And I did that for all my photos, and I just teared it because sometimes I'm too lazy to cut, and I love the rough edges, so that is why I teared it. I'm going to add a doodly border, of course. I love to do doodly borders, and I'm just using the pen that I always use for journaling. I love this pen for journaling. It's a Pilot G2. It will also be linked down below in the description box. So here you see that I cleaned my desk and I grabbed my Christmas things. So I was subscribed to a scrapbooking kit several years ago, and I still have supplies left from that. And I also have some other things laying around that I am using. I believe I also have a Your Creative Studio box that was Christmas themed from a couple of years ago that I grabbed, and my mission was to use these things because they have been laying around in my stash for quite a while. I believe this is Crate Paper and Pink Fresh Studio, but I'm not quite sure. But I'm just layering up my photos and my pieces. So for Christmas night, Oots and I, we were together. And we made this really nice buffet for ourselves and watched a movie, and we just had some relaxing time together and enjoyed ourselves. And I cuddled with Koda, as you see on the photo. And yeah, it was just really, really nice. So I wanted to document that, so I took a photo of the dinner that we made for ourselves, and this photo that I had of Koda. So I'm trying to figure out what I want to do, and I have to say that the Christmas spreads were a bit of a struggle. Not all of them as much as others, because the next spread that I'm going to do was a very, very big struggle. I also edited out a lot of fuzzing. I don't know what it was. Sometimes things come together very fast, and sometimes it just doesn't work out. So I'm grabbing some of these embellishments that were in that scrapbook kit. I think they are Pink Fresh Studio. And some of these stickers. So I wanted to journal just a little bit about this and when it was, to remember when we saw certain people or when we were together. I'm also going to add my week 52, of course, in here. And just writing that this was Christmas night together with Oots. Then I have these stickers, and I really was on a mission to use things up. So I believe that at the end of the journaling, I used this complete sticker sheet up, I think, which was an amazing feeling though. So now moving on to the next. We had some restrictions, of course, with Christmas, and with Christmas you were allowed to have 3 visitors, I believe, if I can remember. But that meant that Oots, his mom, had to see us separately. So Oots and I went together on a different day than that she saw the others, because Oots has several siblings. So we had a brunch at his mother's house, and she just made this lovely brunch and a lovely dinner, or dinner, brunch, and some soup, and very nice breads and everything. So I took a photo of the table that she made, and I also took some photos of the presents that she gifted us. So I also wanted to add those to my spread. So I absolutely love this green paper. I think it's one of my favorites. I love the color of it. I love the pattern on it. So I really wanted to use that. And I am also using this text paper, which has all these words that says family and love this, I don't know, all these kinds of things. But it was a beautiful green, and I thought it was a good layering piece. So I'm just layering up my photo here with these papers. And then I will add that to my journal page. But as you saw, I had multiple photos. So I had this ripped off bag from another project, and I just closed it up and made it into a bag for the other 2 photos to sit in. So you could take them out, but they didn't take up any space on my spread, because I knew I had quite a lot of things to document, and I didn't want to do extra spreads, and I wanted to keep things together. So I thought it was a fun little thing to add as an interactive element, that you could take out these photographs to see the gifts that we received. So after I'm done with my layering up my papers, I actually really, really like this spread. I saw this die cut and I thought it's perfect for the other one because it says home for the holidays, which is this scrapbook kit is from 2017. So home for the holidays has a very, very different meaning this year than others, but I thought it was a perfect die cut for the spread that I did before. I found this beautiful Falala glittery piece and the 25, because this was on the actual Christmas day. So I thought the 25 was perfect, and I added this little sticker which has lost its stick to journal a little bit on what the photo was about. So next up, we had a Secret Santa with Oots, his father's side of the family. His parents are divorced, so we have several Christmases, and we had to, like Secret Santa, you get a person. We combined Sinterklaas with Christmas, and we had to buy presents for each other, which was really, really fun. And some of us made, I don't know how to call that, a surprise in Dutch. for the other person, so which is a very cool way of gift wrapping. You will see that later on, but I didn't have a lot of time, so I wasn't able to do that. So I wrote a poem, which is also a Dutch thing to do, I think, for our for the people that we had pulled. So I made this spread documenting the gifts that I wrapped and the poems. So I used the gift wrapping paper that I used as a background for this page. And I'm repeating the same process as I did before. And I printed off 2 extra copies of the poems that I made. I did some digital designing with an AC Digital's kit. I believe it was Falala from Create Paper. I did that in InDesign, and I created something very, Christmassy and nice. And I wanted to add these 2 into my journal because I think it's a lot of fun to see them again later on and to see what you gifted someone else. And of course, I also documented our own gifts. So I was trying to figure out how I wanted to do, but then I decided that I am just going to stick these sheets of paper in, that you can fold them out again. And this doily was already sewn into my journal, and I thought it was perfect on the left hand side to journal on, so that's why I stuck that down. So here you see me sticking this down, and these A4 sheets of paper can be opened perfectly, so you can read, but it's also very compact now, and they will stay together on this side of the paper. So here's the photo of the presents that I wrapped, and with the poems in there, and I also printed on a craft tag the names, and it was very fun little project to do. I love doing it because of course it's in my alley. But I also hope that the persons that received it loved it as much as I did. So I'm going to layer up this photo. I also have some scraps from these kits because I used these before. Years ago. So I'm using some scraps to layer up my photos, and I especially really like this wood grain paper because it gives a bit of a natural vibe, but it's kind of dark, so it also gives a bit of contrast. So I use that for my photo because the wrapping paper that I use is quite bright, of course. And I'm just going through the embellishments to figure out what I wanted to do. And I found this bingo card, which I thought I would never otherwise use. So I thought, perfect layering piece. And I sticking my photos down. So now I am going to spell out my title, and these stickers were also part of that scrapbook kit. Oh, I also find another embellishment, Mary. I thought it looked very cool there, and I am going to stick that down as well with some glue and some more of these crepe paper stickers. I don't really mind that things don't have anything to do with what I am documenting. It's more about having fun and creating the vibe that I want. And it doesn't really matter that there are birds or a deer or anything, because it still looks Christmassy. So I spelled out Secret Santa, and I'm going to add more of these stars. I actually love this page. I think this is my favorite page I made for Christmas. I don't know, I love the colors, I love the aesthetic, I love the thing. So I do think this is my favorite Christmas page. So now I'm going to journal about the presents, and now I'm moving on to the next page. So we were supposed to see each other on the 27th of December, but of course we couldn't. So Oets, his father and partner, dropped off the presents at everyone's place, and they also arranged some dinner for us, which was really, really nice. So here are the photos from the presents that I received and that Oets received, and I'm also using the wrapping paper from one of my presents because it had that lovely Happy Holidays tag on there, and I actually really like this pattern. So I'm using that as a backing for the blank page over there to add my photos on. So this is actually the page that took me forever to make. I don't know why. I think it's maybe because I had quite a few photos that I wanted to document and there's not a lot of space. I don't know, this page was ridiculously long to make, and I edited out so much from this, just me fussing around with my photo placement or with embellishments or anything. This video is already 30 minutes long, so that's why I took it out. But I really wanted to share my last part of 2020, and I didn't want to wait another video to, close this whole 2020 memory keeping for me. So because we couldn't see each other, they thought of filming everyone opening up their presents, and so we did, and they sent it to me to edit into one big video so we could watch it, and we still had the feeling that we were together and seeing everyone's reaction to the present, which was really, really fun. I really loved making this video for the family, and they also loved it. So I added this QR code in my journal. So if you scan this code, you go to the video, and we can rewatch it. So I thought it was actually really, really cool. I saw that in someone else's video that they added QR codes, and I thought that's brilliant. So I also wanted to add that in my own for future reference, that we could see that weird Christmas where we were all separate but still together. So I'm adding a piece of this wrapping paper also to the other side to connect the two pages and to create some interest. And here I go with figuring out what I want to do. So I'm moving around my photos quite a lot. I also didn't want to cover up the Happy Holidays tag because I really liked it, and but I also wanted to keep the photos together that were supposed to go together. So it was quite a bit of a thing to figure out. I go for this grid spacing on the left side of my journal, and I decided that I wanted to add all the photos and one embellishment on a piece of paper on a rectangle to keep them together. So I'm just figuring out which paper I want to use. I was very, 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 very indecisive. As you can see, I'm auditioning a lot of papers. It wasn't quite that, and I wasn't quite sure. This is from the Your Creative Studio box, but it covered up too much of the pattern, and it looked the colors looked too similar with the paper that I already had on there. So in the end, I just decided I'm going for this plate paper. I'm going for it. I'm going to stick my things down, and I'm going to cut it out. So usually I cut my pieces of paper just with scissors, but because this is such a structured thing, I use my paper trimmer to cut out the rectangle. So now it is just one piece. I also had that real ephemera piece from a present, but it didn't go on the page. So in the end, I didn't use it on this journal page. But the biggest thing is that I keep things, and if they don't end up in my journal, it's okay. But then I have the option to use them. So I'm also adding a piece of that green paper to the other side to connect these two spreads together. And I just cut a strip, I think it's 2 inches wide, and I just glued it on there to connect these two pieces of paper. So I finally decide on my placement. I just went for it. I stuck it down. This is how I'm doing it, and now it's stuck down. I can't move it anymore because it was taking way too long. I'm going into the embellishment box to create some clusters. I wanted to add some of these stickers and just decorate a little bit, but not too much, because I also had quite a few things to say, of course, about these photos. So the top photos on the left is the beautiful gift wrapping that was made for me. So the person that had me made this very big bullet journal. It was very cool, so you could open it up like a real book, and in there were my presents. It was a very cool project. It was very well made. And when I opened up my presents, Link, of course, had to approve them. So I also took a photo of that. Oets received a car, and in that car were his presents. So I also took a photo of that for future reference to see what we received. And then on the right top, we have a photo of some food. And Oots, his father, arranged for all of us that we were able to eat some Thai food, which was delicious. I absolutely loved it. So I took a photo of that. And of course, like I said, I made a video, and the QR code is down on the right. I covered it up with some post-its. Of course, these will be removed once I'm done with this journal. But, you know, because of privacy reasons, I covered that part up. So I stuck some of these stickers down, as you saw from the sticker sheet, and I found these gold stars, and I'm just going to stick them down as well. And now I will start journaling, I believe. And I will journal about my presents and who made them for me. I journaled about Uts's presents and who made them, who made that for him. And then, of course, I wanted to journal about the food. And I wrote down the title with a gray marker, which says Third Christmas Day, which is not an official Christmas day in the Netherlands, but it's like a thing we call it. We have 2 Christmas days, and we say we also have the third one, but it's not an official Christmas day. But once I started journaling on that beautiful pattern paper on the right, I noticed that you couldn't really see it. So I took out some gesso to create some journaling space, and I made it a bit messy. It's okay, it's just a journal. But I created some space to journal on, and I actually really like that, and it made my journaling stand out just enough, but you could also see still a bit of the pattern through it. So I dried that off with my heat tool, and now I journaled. So I journaled on top about the food and on the bottom about the Christmas video. And then we move on to week 53. As you see, I have a clean desk again because I cleared out all the Christmas stuff, and now I grabbed another digital kit from AC Digitals, which is the Snow and Cocoa kit by Great Paper. So week 53 was New Year's Eve, and we had a little LAN with 2 of our friends because in this time we were allowed to have 2 visitors a day. Don't worry, we were able to have our distance, but I just snapped a little photo of that. This is Oots, his best friend, and we were gaming. So I took this photo and I wanted to document this, and I'm using that Snow and Cocoa paper. So I'm just layering up my photo, and this spread came actually together pretty fast again. So that was really nice. So I'm layering up the photo and finding some scraps because I've had this kit for quite some time in my stash. I'm not quite sure, I believe 2019. I think I journaled with it in 2019. So I do have some scrap pieces and the embellishments and everything cut out for me. So yeah, we had this LAN party, which means that the guys brought their gaming PCs to our house, and we cook for each other, we eat together, we play games together, and it's just a lot of fun to just be in the same room together doing the same thing. For me, it was a bit of a different Christmas break because I didn't really have a Christmas break as I was doing my exams accelerated, so I had to finish them faster. So when they were here, I was still working on my exams, but it was very nice to just have them around and ask them, so what do you think about this design? So that was really nice. So I did play a little bit with them, but I also worked on my exams. So for the ones wondering what we were playing World of Warcraft. It's a game that I also play with my husband. I love to play it. They released their new expansion last year, Shadowlands, and I just love to play World of Warcraft. I am a hunter and I love raiding. It's just a lot of fun, and I love to play it with my husband and with my friends. So we had a funny little name for this LAN, which was Winter Wonder LAN. You hear the pun there, so that is why I chose this embellishment that says Wonderland, and I found this one that says Winter, so that way I didn't have to write it out myself, and I took my pen and crossed out the D to let it say Winter Wonder Land, which I think was really funny. So I added that as my title, and now I'm going to add some more embellishments to create a little bit of a wintry vibe, although we didn't have any snow or anything, but it was just a nice nice little thing, a nice little break to have. So I'm adding some of these snowflakes. I'm going through that embellishment box. So all of these embellishments are hand cut by myself. I don't have a silhouette or anything. So I like to sit on the couch at night or in the evening with some YouTube on and just cut out some of these images. I think it's very, very relaxing. It helps me when I have a busy brain. So that is what I do with these. But you could also, if you have a silhouette, you can also let the silhouette cut them. So I found this word sticker that says, in my defense, I was left unsupervised, because of course we're gaming for about, I don't know, 12 or 14 hours a day. So yeah, it's just a little fun, like stop being an adult and just play games. So yeah, I journaled about that, and that was that spread. And for the last spread of 2020, I had this beautiful peacock paper, and I decided to print off my top 9 for Instagram and make that as a closure for 2020. So I thought first that I wanted to layer up my photo, but I actually really liked how it was. So I'm going to stick this photo down as is, and then I will stamp out my title. At first I thought I wanted to use some letter stickers, but I had too much to say, or too much letters to use, so I decided to stamp it out with this beautiful font. And I am using some archival ink for that and some scrap white cardstock, and I'm going to stamp out that was 2020. I'm also going to fussy cut out all these letters by themselves, so that they are like letter stickers, but they're not. And I'm going to stick them to my page as a closing page for 2020. And I absolutely love this look. It's a very, very simple page, but I love it. And I'm going to add some word stickers to that. So that was my 2020 memory keeping for now. I will film a journal flip through for you, of course, and I do hope that you enjoyed this video. Don't worry, I will be making junk journal with me videos, and I will be making more memory keeping videos, but just in a different format, so stay tuned for that. If you like this video, I would love it if you would give me a thumbs up. I would also love it if you would consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you all next time. Bye!